pandering to Donald Trump. I thought it was interesting that the framing was a room of black Republicans. Where are they? Where are they? Because if you look at the stats, 81% of black men are part of the Democratic Party. Black voters consistently align with the Democratic Party. Over 95% of black women are part of the Democratic Party. So these black men that he was speaking with, I'd love to see them. It would be like looking at unicorns.
So I guess black men like myself, we're unicorns. People with conservative values that happen to have black skin are unicorns, according to Sunny Hostin. You know, I used to think at first that race baiters like Sunny Hostin really didn't believe what they were saying, that they were being controlled by their liberal puppet masters. But the more and more I hear her regurgitating this stuff, it's one of those things how if you repeat a lie long enough, you start to believe it. And so I think she's been fed stuff for so long that her mind has become corrupted to where she actually believes this garbage that she spews on this show. And it's no wonder that this show is losing viewers like that, because it is a bunch of women up there just cackling. Sorry for me saying that, just cackling and talking about things they have no idea about. The latest example is Byron Donalds. I made a video talking about Byron Donalds when he said that during Jim Crow, black families were together. But obviously, the media and the liberals and the black bougie elite who have been dispatched by their liberal puppet masters to combat this and paint Donald Trump as a racist, paint Republicans as a racist, to remind them that their place is with the Democratic Party. They've all come out and condemned Byron Donalds.
But Florida Congressman Byron Donalds hit a new low when he told a room full of black Republicans that he misses the quote-unquote good old days. Watch.
No, he did not say that. These people constantly misrepresent black men and black conservatives when they speak the truth. The man did not say that he missed the good old days. You have to listen to what he had to say.
Jim Crow, the black family was together.
That's right.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
It's hard to hear him a little bit, I think. But he's basically saying that during the Jim Crow period, which is post-slavery, like 100 years later, black people were in better condition than they are now, right?
No, woman. He said the black family was intact during Jim Crow, and black families were together before the intervention and the social engineering that has happened by progressives and liberals through the HEW. He's talking about the Health and Welfare Act that was part of the New Deal and then the Great Society program of Lyndon Baines Johnson, when they kicked the man out, the black man out, and the government came in and took the place of the black man, destroyed the black family. That's what he's talking about. These women get on these kind of shows and just lie and lie and lie and distort the truth. And people that watch this don't get the truth because they're lazy. They don't take the time to really research this stuff for themselves.
Right? When there were slave patrols and things like that.
Here we go, the race baiter, Sunny Hostin.
Well, you know, listen, I can't say it any better than our House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. So let's take a look at what he said.
We were not better off when a young boy named Emmett Till could be brutally murdered without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when black women could be sexually assaulted without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be denied the right to vote without consequence because of Jim Crow. How dare you make such an ignorant observation? You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
So my question is
that wasn't a gotcha moment that you think it is, Sunny Hostin, you holding your cup up like that. First of all, you guys you're intentionally distorting what the man said. The man said the black family was intact during Jim Crow. He did not say black people were better off. He was indicating that the black family was better off during Jim Crow because they were intact. And he's correct. And you know that. But you will not speak to that point. You'll take his words, you'll twist his words to make it seem like the man said black people as a whole were better off during Jim Crow. You know what you're doing. You're deceitful and you're lying to your people.
Byron Donalds, does he not know the history, or is he just wanting to pander?
Well, either did anyone else in that room, though. What's scary is when you hear the audio, there are a lot of people going, So,
Cause, lady, They knew what he was talking about.
Feels like a class needs to be taught to everyone in that room because segregation left you with no choice. Like you weren't picking the family.
That is a lie. That is a straight up lie. You had a choice. Black people had to be together doing segregation because they didn't have the option to go to these white schools. They didn't have the option to do anything the white community was doing. So therefore they were intact. They had their own schools. They had their own teachers. Teachers cared about their children and the children learned better. Boy, these people need a class on history.
They were literally making you go to different places. They didn't allow for, so talking about
And see, that's what these white liberals think. They think, oh, when black people had their own stuff, it was second class. It wasn't as good. And see, that's the hypocrisy and that's the racism that these white liberals and some conservatives believe. That just because it wasn't white, it wasn't predominantly white, it wasn't as good. And unfortunately, black people believe this lie. Some black people really believe that the white man's ice is colder than their ice.
black person choosing to be with your family and then looking at the greater social scheme and the injustice of that. He must not know what it is. I mean, that seems like a far leap to not understand Jim Crow, segregation, and the separation of the race. I don't understand.
Well, if he doesn't know, shame on him, because there is nothing worse, I think, that when people achieve certain status and certain rights and don't appreciate, take for granted the struggles, the death, the fights, the marches, everything it took to be able to give Byron Donalds the opportunities he has now. Because under Jim Crow, he couldn't vote. He wouldn't have been in.
That's a straight up lie. Another lie they're telling you. Could he vote under Jim Crow? Yeah, but they made it harder for him to vote, so a lot of black people did not vote. Jim Crow did not strip your right away. The right to vote came through the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, all those amendments together. But what happened was you had the poll tax and other things like that put in place during Jim Crow to make it harder for black people to vote. It's called disenfranchisement. They didn't take away their right to vote.
Congress. He couldn't have married his wife. He's married to a lovely woman named Erica, who.
Ah, yes. I knew this was coming up. So I made a video and I'll put it here in this video. I'll link it at the end. So I made a video about a year and a half ago when Byron Donalds was being nominated for Speaker of the House. And I saw that the vitriol that this man was receiving because of his wife, because she is white. Black women were all up in arms because this man happened to marry a white woman. So I knew they were going to mention that on this show. Now, Sunny Hostin couldn't do it because she has a history of being racist. So they put the Latina woman up there to say it.
White. Interracial marriage was illegal in Florida until 1969. He could have not gone to Florida State University. For over 100 years, black students were not admitted to that university. Over 250 blacks were lynched in Florida under Jim Crow. So for him to be waxing nostalgic about that era that elicits so much pain, that was such a dark period in the history of the United States, is offensive. And for him to be doing it as a black man, as a person of color, is even more offensive. What really...
No, you are offending me because you're mischaracterizing what the man said. You are offending me. You are offensive. You ladies are offensive.
Do you, Sunny, is it stupidity like she says, or is it something else?
I think it's pandering. I don't think it's stupidity.
To whom?
It's pandering to Donald Trump. I thought it was interesting that the framing was a room of black Republicans. Where are they? Where are they? Because
tune into my channel, Sunny. Go on YouTube. You lying. You know, you see black Republicans all the time. You're doing this. This is intentional. Everyone, this is intentional. She's doing, I'm telling you, they have been dispatched. They are so scared that Donald Trump is going to get a large portion of the black vote. They are so scared, and they know black men are going to vote. You just heard 50 Cent talking about how black men are relating to Trump and can identify with Trump. They are so scared that they'll send anyone and everybody, their surrogates, their shills like Sunny Hostin, will say these stupid asinine things knowing it's not true. Knowing that a lot of black people are conservative. The people that she knows are probably more social conservative. But she knows that, but she will not say that on live air because she wants an agenda to be pushed, a message to be received by black people. You better not vote for Donald Trump. You better not vote. This man racist. You better not vote for Donald Trump. We're going to put you back in change. Don't you know? Black women run the black community. You better not vote for Donald Trump.
if you look at the stats,
These clapping seals in the audience laughing at that.
81%, I'm sorry, of black men are part of the Democratic Party.
Just because they may affiliate with them doesn't mean they vote with them 100% of the time. I know plenty of black people who may affiliate with the Democratic Party, but they never vote for Democrats. They just haven't changed their registration.
Black voters consistently align with the Democratic Party. Over 95% of black women are part of the Democratic Party. So these black men that he was speaking with, I'd love to see them. It would be like looking at unicorns. And so I think that the sad thing is, I agree with you, Anna, is that this came from the mouth of a black man, right? And so if you're pandering yourself and your community and your history to a man like Donald Trump, who is a disgraced, one-term, twice impeached, convicted felon, we get to say now, is even more despicable in this country.
Sunny, I really pray for your soul. You say you're a Catholic, right? I really pray that you become a Christian and really know the Lord, because your deception and your lying and your deceit is not a good look. It's not a good look at all. I don't know if you're doing it just for money or if you really believe the garbage that's coming out of your mouth. But you need to repent of that stuff. The simple fact that you say black conservative men are unicorns, so I guess I'm a unicorn. You say that black conservative men are pandering to Trump. We don't know our history. I know all the history. I grew up in Mississippi. I went to school in Alabama. I know all the history of Jim Crow. I know every single detail that you probably just have heard about. I know specifics. I can tell you specifics about what has happened. But yet, because I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, because I believe in biblical values, I believe in biblical truth, I choose to see the world through a biblical worldview. And that is what dictates what party and platform I vote for. I don't use race, I don't race bait, and I don't see things through a racial lens, which you obviously are doing, even though your ancestors owned slaves, and even though you're not 100% black yourself. I tell you, these biracial people are the ones that really push all this race baiting stuff because they feel a void in their heart, because they feel they gotta justify their blackness by doing this stupid stuff. And all it does is harm the community and create more and more victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.